everyone, I'm Liza and I'm running for your next UFC president. It's kind of surreal being here. I've thought about this moment since I was a freshman. But why I'm here today is because UFC has been such a big part of my college experience. I have given every single Tuesday for the past 3 years to this club. It has always been a staple for me. It has always been a place I can return to and rely on the people to be here for me. And it has contributed greatly on my own personal growth. Through my time as NSR and as a 2-term treasurer, I have seen this club change and grow for the better, and I would like to continue that journey. My goal for the club comes in 4 parts. First, to foster community with our organization, as well as support all organizations dedicated to supporting and empowering people of color in our SU community, as well in the greater Seattle area. Second, to embrace the diversity, beauty, and history of our Filipino culture. Third, acknowledge our privilege as students at an American higher education institute and advocate for our Filipino brothers and sisters. And fourth, to provide opportunities for our members to grow as individuals, become the leaders we want to see, and help prepare them for their post-grad journeys. Thank you.
Question for me, President. I'm so proud of you. So I'm gonna ask 2 questions, if that's okay. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
So my first question is, like, being in the same position as I was, coming from this, being on the officer board for 3 or going into possibly your 4th consecutive year, how would you use your time in those officer positions and to help develop those who are newly coming in and for those coming back?
So, given that I have been part of the board for the past 3 years, I've gotten experience working with a wide variety of leaders, and both of them, I've been in boards where majority has been returning officers, and I've been part of boards where majority is new officers. And I think it's important to note that each person is unique and each person needs support differently, and it's important to note that in order to support them, you have to listen to them. And through my past experience on being on the board, I feel like I've learned so much from the different people that I've worked with, from Julio being how to be a moderator, like Jeff being so welcoming, even like Jelly when she really learned how, like she was like maybe the first one to show me like how your major could really help you with your own position. And I think it's really pulling on asking people what is their why, like why are you here, what is your goal, and working on this isn't my club, this isn't the board's club, it's our club, and I think that's really important. And it all goes back to our mission of, like, in our constitution, we want to foster that community of Filipinos and to empower them. And I feel like I'm just ranting, but yeah, like I think every single experience I've had on the board, good and bad, every single person I've met has taught me something about leadership and how to be a leader. And I feel like I can apply every single lesson I've learned to support anyone who does come into this board and to our club as a general member as well.
Alright, so my second question is that being on the board, again, also for like 4 years, a common problem that I see that has been recurring every single year is what like Michelle had brought up earlier, is burnout. So how would you, like we somewhat discussed this in our last officer retreat, but how would you directly approach it within your officer board so it's not going to be more so going to be a toll on just your officer board, but also going to be a toll on your club and general members?
So I think when it comes to burnout, it's something everybody faces. I mean, I've experienced it just as much. And I think it's important to really have that communication with your officer board. And it's really important to do these check-ins and make sure you're listening to what they're saying. Because if they're telling you, like, hey, I'm overloading, or hey, I'm working, or hey, like something's going on at home, you have to acknowledge that not every single person has the same workload capacity as you, and you have to make sure that you match those expectations for that person to what they're telling you. And I think one thing that was really great about this year is that we saw so many committees forming with Historian, with SJPE, really providing those support systems for our officers. And I think it's also important that there's no one officer who is responsible to support everyone. Everyone must support their entire team, and really establishing that and really starting that, really saying that that is what we expect out of our officer board from the very beginning. And not only just saying it, but like it starts from the top down. You have to practice what you preach. And I think that's really important, that if I were to be president, I don't think I would be satisfied if I didn't have a personal connection with every single person I worked with, because I want to know what's going on in your life. I want to make sure that you aren't like feeling so overwhelmed that you can't talk to anyone. Like, I want to be that support system, and I'm sure everybody else who has run for the position here wants to do just that much for everyone as well. So I think for burnout, it's being honest, it's letting yourself be open, being vulnerable, and then also listening to what people say.
Question from alumni. Internal conflict is a norm for executive boards, and members of the board may not always see eye to eye. How would you lead your board during divisive or stressful times?
So, conflict is inevitable. I think one thing to make sure is what is the root of this conflict. If it is professional or personally based. If it is personally based and they are bringing that into the boardroom, that's not okay. I think it's very important to, in order to have a successful board, we have to acknowledge what our roles are, and when we come into this room and we come into a meeting, it's not about us. We cannot be selfish. We have to understand that we are here to represent people who aren't able to come into this room. So I think also really having that sit down with people, if there is a conflict, understand their side, see where they're coming from. And if it is a professional issue, like if it's a professional issue, that means that it can be talked out. That just means that there's two sides. That just means that more conversation needs to happen. And we have to be willing to have that conversation. And we have to be able to have empathy and understand where that person is coming from. And by just shutting down and telling them, oh no, you're wrong, you're not trying to be a leader. You're trying to say you're right. Being a leader is meaning that you care about what is the best opportunity. And if you care, that means you want to open up to all opportunities and understand where these sides are coming from. So even if, like, let's say, like, the conflict was within me and I felt really strongly, you know, I would want, and someone disagreed with me, it would be my job to understand where they're coming from. And like, if someone were to call me out and be like, hey Liza, like, you're not being open-minded, I should welcome that, because it's my duty to be open-minded.
Question from the general audience. A trend in past years of UFC has been a decline in engagement of seniors / fifth years in club activities. How will you address this and make the functions of the club more aligned with the needs of upperclassmen and get them engaged outside of Cap and Mario?
Yeah, I think when it comes to fourth years and fifth years, I think the solution is innovation. You know, you go through this club and we do a lot of the same events over and over, but you want to make sure that you're always having value added, you know, econ. But if they're staying this long, you want to make sure that they're getting a different experience, freshman, sophomore, junior, senior, fifth year, even masters if they decide to join us as well, that they're getting something new. And I think that's something we've really worked hard on this year, especially with senior advisors. Shout out to MJ. You know, those professional events are great, and yes, like, they value everyone, but as a freshman, you most likely don't even know what your major is, like, you don't know what you want. And those are things that are very valuable to people who are looking for internships and their junior year, senior year, post-grad plans, and then even like grad school plans. And I think for more involvement, I think we need to do things that call onto the needs of our seniors as well, because we are very, like, first year oriented, which we should be, but our club is not only made out of first years. And we want to make sure that our first years look up to our seniors. And if they're seeing that our seniors are not coming, they aren't going to come when they're a senior. And so we have to make sure that we create events, and that's by working not only just senior advisor, but that's activities, that's cultural, that's SJPE, like working with all these officers and planning new events to make sure that whatever your interest is, whatever they might evolve to, we have something for you because we never want to make you feel that you no longer belong in our community.
Last one. How do you want to leave your legacy on this organization?
I think when it comes to your legacy, you have to look back on like why you're here. It was like such a big impact for me when I was a freshman. I know a lot of you guys might not think so, but I am a very shy person. And you just meet me here, so I'm more open because I'm comfortable in this space. And the reason why I joined NSR was because I found this community, and I personally felt like if I was a general member, I would have been too shy. So I joined NSR because I knew it would force me to like become friends with everyone, and that experience has really led up to this moment, you know. And it's because the legacy of UFC, it's something, I don't know if you guys seen this TED Talk, it's by Simon Sinek, but it's about you saw it, you were in class, your why, how, and what. So we don't join UFC because of the what. The what is we're a Filipino club. The how is that we have barrio, we have events, and our why is because of the community of being involved and having that feeling that we are not alone and people care about our empowerment. We don't join Filipino Club because we are Filipinos and it just says Filipino. We come because of the United. It's United Filipino Club. If we do not feel that we are part of this organization, there is no club. It doesn't matter if we're Filipino. We could be Asian American Club, but it's because of our value of fostering a community that is why we are here today. And I think the legacy that I would want to lead, and it's not just my legacy, it's our board's legacy, it's this entire club. Every single person that's in this room is part of this legacy. And what I want is that there is a reason why we are here, and I want that reason to be fostered into every single person that comes into that store and comes into our space. And I want to make sure that they feel like they are cared for, especially as people of color in a white institution. Like, this is our community and we should protect it and we should continue it on, and we want to welcome every single person. The important word of Filipino Club is not Filipino, it is united, and that is very important, and that is our legacy. So.